And the battle for New Hampshire, it's sizzling. And the New York Times is reporting today that Governor Chris Christie's and Governor Jeb Bush's campaigns are secretly talking and teaming up behind the scenes against Senator Marco Rubio.
This New Hampshire primary is now down to a choice between me and Marco Rubio, and everybody knows it.
There are candidates that aren't doing well. They're going to start to lash out. They think it might help them.
He gave a victory speech in Iowa. He came in third.
His own supporter couldn't come up with one accomplishment.
Oh, my gosh, Marco Rubio's the guy. He's going to have to earn it. And he's going to have to do what Chris Christie and John Kasich and I do and other candidates do.
From multiple people, millions of dollars spent attacking us in Iowa and in New Hampshire.
Momentum has a strange way of dying here.
And just a short time ago, New Jersey governor and 2016 GOP presidential candidate Governor Chris Christie went on the record from New Hampshire. Governor Christie, nice to see you, sir.
Hey, Greta, how are you?
I'm good. So, Governor Christie, I've heard you refer to, or at least reported, that you've called Senator Rubio Bubble Boy. And I have two questions on that. Does that include Senator Ted Cruz? And what is a Bubble Boy?
Well, actually, it was called the boy in the bubble, and it applies to Senator Rubio. And the reason it applies to him is because he's not ready to be president of the United States. And he's not ready because of the way he, not only his lack of accomplishment in his Senate career, but also because he lives a very protected life as a candidate. He doesn't answer questions and gaggles. He doesn't do extensive town hall meetings. He does drive-by town hall meetings of 40 or 45 minutes with a lot of prepared, pre-canned answers. And so the real question here, Greta, is who's ready to be president of the United States? Someone who's faced crisis with the second worst natural disaster in American history, someone who stood up to the teachers union, to the Democratic legislature, or somebody who has basically skated through a 5-year Senate career without leaving any footprints at all, except for his amnesty bill with Chuck Schumer, which when it got hot, he cut and ran. All right, does that include, does the boy in the bubble does that include Senator Ted Cruz, or is that just Senator Rubio? Senator Marco Rubio. That's what I was talking about. Okay, good. All right. I mean, I got that. All right. Yesterday, President Barack Obama made his first visit to a Baltimore mosque, and two of your competitors have a very different view on it. Senator Rubio says it's divisive, and Governor Bush says he doesn't think it's divisive to speak at a mosque, but he is surprised it took President Obama his 8th year in office to do it. So where are you team Governor Bush on this or team Marco Rubio on this? I'm team Chris Christie on this, Greta, and I have a long history of this. I remember I was U.S. attorney in New Jersey in the immediate aftermath of September 11th, and I went and visited mosques all across New Jersey to build back relationships between peaceful, American-loving Muslim Americans and law enforcement. And I've done the same thing as governor. And so you represent all your citizens when you're governor, and you don't play games with this. I know the difference between radical Islamic jihadists and people who attend mosques throughout the United States of America as Muslim Americans. And the fact is that I did that as U.S. attorney, I did it as governor, and I would do it as president of the United States. New York Times reports that your campaign and Governor Bush's campaign are having sort of back-channel communication with sort of a target on the back of Senator Marco Rubio. Are they having some communications back and forth, the campaigns? Complete baloney, Greta. More New York Times baloney. I guess they're getting bored with the race with 5 days to go to New Hampshire, but there are no back-channel conversations between me and Jeb Bush. The fact is that we're both out there working hard, trying to bring our message to folks, and we're competing for votes. That's what we're doing, and anything that I have to say in this campaign is in my voice, not in anybody else's. The international news today includes this, is that world leaders have pledged more than $10 billion to help fund schools, shelter, and jobs for refugees from Syria's civil war. And Prime Minister David Cameron says that it will save lives, will give hope, and will give people the chance of a future. At the same time, everyone is also saying, and people at this conference, that prospects for ending the conflict have rarely been worse. Peace talks are suspended, fighting is intensifying, and the UN Secretary General says the situation in Syria is as close to hell as we're likely to find on this earth. So what's the $10 billion going to do for us? Well, listen, to the extent that it helps any of those refugees to be safe and sound and to help the countries that are housing them, I think that's a good thing. But this is a product of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's disastrous foreign policy. Libya is on fire. Syria is on fire. Egypt is under martial law. There's a civil war in Yemen. This is the result of the Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama foreign policy. And by the way, there are fewer democracies in the world today than when they got into office. This is a disastrous policy and one that I will hold Secretary Clinton to task for when I'm debating her next September on the stage for the presidency of the United States.
Governor, thank you for joining us. Good luck next week, sir.
Thank you very much, Greta. Thanks for having me on.